Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Boxing Commentaries with the dude here to commentate about boxing. Just throw my two punches in, Holmes. Here to commentate about a recent interview from Mauricio Suleiman, the WBC president, who has some major news to share. I mean, this is, if you're a diehard boxing fan, if you're a fan with common sense, if you have paid attention to the news, you know this is to be true. But just to clarify for those who seem to be forgetting or covering their ears when the truth is coming out, just a reminder of what really happened between Saul Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez with that stellar fight that the fans been wanting to see. Now, on top of that, it has been David Benavidez who's been very vocal. It has been David Benavidez, the one who has been damn near clout chasing, talking all that shit, barking up the wrong tree. I mean, it's just constant barking from David Benavidez only to chicken out, to run with his tail beneath his legs, right? So that's exactly what happened. David Benavidez damn near begged WBC president Mauricio Suleiman that he did not want to fight. Now, I got the video here. The video is here. I have the proof. The proof is in the pudding. Now, Mauricio Suleiman was interviewed by the Boxing Voice, where Ness from the Boxing Voice asked him a few questions regarding what the fans were asking. He read those questions. Mauricio Suleiman, he responded, and he laid it all to rest. So here we go.
Ali and Dago says, "What up, Mauricio? Why didn't you strip Canelo for the WBC title when he continued to avoid David Benavidez?" And Rod in LA says, "Why was the WBC so quick to call a mandatory for Bivol, but when it's Canelo, we hear excuse after excuse? Why wasn't the same done for David at 168 when he was the interim champ?"
It was a very, I understand the fans, because they do not have access, immediate access to the information, or they don't follow the protocols of what the WBC does.
So right there, Mauricio Suleiman is calling out the fans. He's for the fans who've been talking shit. This is for you. You don't know shit about boxing. So he's letting them know you're not following boxing. You don't know how boxing goes. You don't know the real reason why. And he's going to break it down right here.
But they only follow the news and what is out there.
Exactly what happens. They just run with bullshit, right?
Benavidez became mandatory champion at an X date.
So right here is very true. When David Benavidez defeated Caleb Plant, he was declared the next mandatory for Saul Canelo Alvarez, which they had to sign that contract on March of 2024, last year.
More than a year later, he did even have one or two fights when it was.
So what he's talking about, the two fights were the request that David Benavidez gave to WBC president Mauricio Suleiman, requesting that he did not want to stick around at 168. He was petitioning to fight other fighters while his opportunity to fight Canelo was right there on the table. So if he had the shot to fight against Canelo, the WBC president is letting you know right here, he had that mandatory shot, but he requested to fight two other guys instead. Who were those two other guys? Well, if you guys been following boxing, you know that one was Demetrius Andrade, and then the other one was when he moved up to 175 against Gvozdyk.
The time to be mandatory, which I believe was March last year.
Right there. He became mandatory on March of last year. It's only been 1 year.
He decided to move up in weight category.
And so he's basically letting you know, when that date came, the response from David Benavidez was that he stayed at light heavyweight.
Benavidez Canelo was very popular fight that people wanted to see, but was not the mandatory as people think it was.
So he's basically, see, Mauricio Suleiman is very respectful, but he's basically telling the fans, you guys are just a bunch of idiots who've been blaming this shit on Canelo. It was David Benavidez who requested to move up. It was David Benavidez who requested the extensions, and it was David Benavidez who refused to come back down.
When Benavidez moves up, he's as mandatory of super middle.
So he's saying right there, David Benavidez petitioned to move up. He asked for those requests to fight those other two fighters, right? So it is on David Benavidez.
He petitioned the WBC to move up to light heavyweight, stating I want to move up to fight for the interim title. If I win, I will let the WBC know if I stay in super middle or light heavyweight. He moves up.
So that's exactly what he did. David Benavidez moves up. He fights at light heavyweight. He wins that particular fight. And his response was?
He wins and he notifies the WBC he's staying in light heavyweight. And the WBC names him mandatory contender of the division.
So there you go. It was David Benavidez who was given the opportunity to become mandatory on March 2024. Benavidez rejected that fight. He asked for two other opponents apart from Canelo. He said he wanted Andrade and Gvozdyk. He had Canelo in the bag, but he chose not to wait for Canelo, which was only within that same year of 2024, right? Now, David Benavidez's own manager, Samson Lukowicz, he came out on Pro Box TV and he made it very clear. He said, look, Saul Canelo Alvarez, he crossed the street, he signed a contract with the PBC for a 3-fight deal, and that last fight was supposed to be David Benavidez in September of 2024, which was in alignment with what the WBC had ordered, to declare David Benavidez on March 2024 as mandatory so that they could fight on September 2024 for Canelo's undisputed title. But very clearly, you heard it right here. Mauricio Suleiman, the president of the WBC, stated it was actually David Benavidez who rejected the mandatory before the due date. He asked to fight two different opponents, not Canelo. He chose to fight Andrade and Gvozdyk while he had the Canelo fight in his bag, right? After fighting at 175, the light heavyweight division, David Benavidez was given 2 extensions to make up his mind. After the second extension, he requested a third extension to make up his mind, which he was denied, right? That's when David Benavidez said, I'm staying at 175. I'm not going back down to 168. I don't want to fight Canelo. That is exactly what Mauricio Suleiman said. That's damn near begging him, right? If you petition, if you ask, so here's the thing. He rejected the mandatory fight. He petitioned to fight not one, but 2 different fighters. And then he came back and asked for not 1, not 2, but 3 different extensions to make up his mind, only to come back on his own and say, I'm not going back down. I'm fighting at 175. I'm going after the interim title. Now I'm going after the winner between Bivol and Bitterbeef, knowing that Bivol and Bitterbeef were locked in for a trilogy. He knew damn well they were locked in for a trilogy. So why is David Benavidez going after a fighter who is locked into a trilogy? Because he knows very damn well he's not going to get the fight. He knows that if he petitions either Bivol or Benavidez, or it was a Bitterbeef or Benavidez, however it was going to turn out to be, right? Because the first one was Bitterbeef won. The second one, Bivol won. Now they're locked in for the trilogy. So David Benavidez is just sitting around doing nothing, just talking shit, blaming this guy, blaming that guy. They're ducking me. But he's chasing what? He's chasing air. He's hitting fucking nothing but air, bro. He's not making any swish baskets, bro. He's shooting from the free throw line and he's hitting nothing but air. He's shooting nothing but bricks, bro. Why would Mauricio Suleiman lie? He's letting you know right here, right now. He's like, hey, man, I got nothing to lie. These are the rules. He was the mandatory. He had the mandatory shot in September of 2024. All he had to do was sign the contract on March of 2024, which he declined. Instead, he went over and fought 2 different guys. And then he asked for not 1, not 2, but 3 different extensions, right? Only to say he's ducking. Mauricio Suleiman just basically laid it all out on the table. It's all transparent. It's all public news, man, right? It's all out there. All you got to do is just either read it, listen, look at it, right? But if you're one of those haters, envious, jealous, whatever personal problem you got against that short, freckle-faced, redhead guy, bro, whatever you got against that, the little guy, bro, whatever you got against him, bro, that's your problem, bro. But a real man, when he has the facts, when a real man is looking at the proof, a real man is going to go by what the truth is telling you, right? So you could either be one of those non-manly kind of guys and just go out there and keep lying, exaggerating, blaming Canelo, blaming the WBC, supporting David Benavidez, when in fact he's telling you right here, right now, if anybody is to blame, is David Benavidez. This was a very popular fight that the fans wanted to see. David Benavidez had a contract, right, ready for him to sign on March of 2024 for the mandatory fight. He refused to do so. He's also letting you know that Canelo, according to Samson Lokowicz, he signed a 3-fight deal with the PBC, which is David Benavidez's own promotional company. So Canelo crossed the street. He signed a deal that included David Benavidez for September 2024. The WBC gave that alignment to take place, right? That trajectory towards Canelo's undisputed titles, which was supposed to be against Benavidez. Benavidez refuses the mandatory. He petitions against 2 other fighters. He requests different extensions only to say he's ducking, right? So why am I making this video, bro? Because I don't know. Like I said, some of you forgot. You might need to be reminded. Either you're covering your ears or maybe you don't clean your ears at all, right? But the facts are the facts. The truth is the truth. And I'm making this video because I'm just damn sick and tired, bro, of tuning into like boxing channels and just lie after lie after lie. Just this jealous, envious, hateful narrative agenda against the Mexican. I mean, it's either because you're racist against the Mexican or you got a personal issue against a short, redhead, freckle-faced guy like Canelo, or there's just something wrong with you, bro. Just bitch boy shit, bro. I mean, just bitch boy shit. It's just the only thing I gotta say, man. You motherfuckers acting like bitch boys, bro. I mean, you got the president telling you right here, it's this motherfucker's fault. David Benavidez, he's the one at fault. He's the one that ruined the Canelo fight. He's the one that refused the mandatory. He's the one that turned down that set date for September 2024. And because he vacated, it was Edgar Berlanga who took his place. Plain and simple. Call it what you will. But the proof is in the pudding. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I said what I had to say. I showed you what I had to show you. Now it is up to you to accept it like a man or take it like a bitch. I'm out. Peace. Get you in the next round.